start?
Intro.
Okay.
Sorts.
Can I start?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Hi everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the YouTube channel.
They said welcome back. I haven't been on this thing in so long.
Yeah. But you're back.
Yeah.
And that's what's important. You're back. Doesn't matter how long it takes, she's back.
I'm back.
Yeah.
And today I have with me Gugu. And the reason I'm interviewing her today is because, guys, to me this person is the epitome of self-development and self-growth, and I just wanted her to come on here and share a little bit of her journey with you guys, because I think that she's gone through stuff that might be valuable to you guys as well, to other people. And so
also just like, so you're never in your hole forever, and it feels like that, but it's not the situation.
Yeah, you're not in a hole forever. That's so true.
That's the most important thing, actually.
So I met Gugu in first year, and so this is my memory of Gugu. The first time I saw her was first year. We were taking English.
Yay.
And so she walks into the lecture theatre, and that class we had was at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
So I remember seeing this Han. She's tall, she's beautiful, she's gorgeous. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. She has no makeup on, but her skin is all flawless. But I could see that she pops and that she likes herself and she feels herself. So I'm like, nah, this girl, I'm actually not going to talk to her. Whatever. Yeah, but she was very energetic and very bubbly. I don't know how we actually became. I don't remember how we became friends.
I also don't remember. But I also used to see you everywhere.
Kites.
Yeah, like I see others on campus.
Yeah, I think it was Nana, because as Nana.
Oh, friend, my domain. Hey, Nana.
Yeah.
So Nana stayed at my domain, and then you stayed there, and then she would go out and bring Deborah, and then I see Deborah on campus. So
that's how we became friends.
Just a whole lot of first year stuff.
So today we're going to be talking about the art of detachment. Yeah, saying that we agreed earlier that we're both passionate people and we describe each other as such. So we give like a lot of our spirit, soul, time, body, energy, emotions, all of those type of things into stuff that we do.
Yeah. And
what I've learned is that sometimes that doesn't always work out well because life is full of disappointments, and it then becomes.
You must always never think you're exempt from being disappointed.
Yeah.
And I thought I was for a very long time,
So that is something that will always be there. Life will always be full of disappointments. And so now, how do you handle that? How do you deal with that as a passionate person? How do you deal with like the gravity? Because those are like highs and lows. How do you deal with the lows and the gravity of that kind of disappointment?
Yeah, I think that like it's obviously just coming to terms with the fact that nothing is forever.
Yeah.
I think that when I first came into varsity, I had wishful thinking. Like I really thought things would, like I had a plan. I was like, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna do this, and it turned out to be the complete opposite for me. So I'm just now at a place in my life where I understand that you need to enjoy things for what they are. Like this is a season in your life, enjoy it. These people are here for now, enjoy that. And if you don't take it further, that's okay. I also think that like the art of detachment is so much greater than what we think it is. Just because like as a scholar, my identity was heavily attached to UCT for a very long time. And when I wasn't doing well at school, I'm in Cape Town for school. So it almost felt like when I wasn't doing well at school, like everything, I wasn't doing well in life at all. And I think that as people, we normally like attach ourselves to the things that we're doing often. If you're in a relationship, a big part of your identity becomes that you're a girlfriend.
Yeah.
And if you're not doing well at that, you feel like you're not succeeding. So I just learned not to attach myself to things. Like I can do things, but they can't become my identity. So even if when I am to go back to school, I'm not going to identify myself as a UCT student. Like I'm just finishing my studies, and that's that.
And that's that.
If I'm in a relationship, like it may be a big part of me because naturally, like relationships are, but that is not my be all and end all. Like I'm still so much more of a person outside of that.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's also it's easy to attach yourself to things, like especially things that give you some sort of meaning in life, you know. And I think varsity is a weird time because you're not doing anything but school. Like I was a varsity student my whole life. Like I literally couldn't think.
What is Gugu about?
What is Gugu about outside of that?
I think also one of the things I wanted to like quickly touch on was the fact that So like I said, I've seen you grow, develop, change, grow. Because I always had this thing that like, I used to believe that people don't change. They always say the same. But I think also with the willingness to change and the Holy Spirit, like asking God for help, you can change. So what do you think was your issue? And what was the problem? How would you describe what was wrong?
I think that like I was just very easily impressionable. I think that I know I didn't know myself. So like, you come to first year and you're dragging so many different like directions. You want to be a people's pleaser. You want to go out and be with the cool kids. Like there's just so much that happens. So I didn't have an anchor. And when you don't have an anchor, the tide is going to take you anywhere it does it. And where it leaves you is where it leaves you. So like I had no sense of self. I think that when you have no sense of self, you don't even know what to be accountable to, like which part of you, like what are your morals, because you're everywhere. I also think that like I didn't know God. I thought I knew God, but I didn't, just because the majority of my problems were my problems, and I thought as a human and in and of myself I could take care of those things. And I realized that like that's quite impossible. I'm also only here because of prayer and God. Yeah, that's also been a very, very big part of me letting go. There's certain, Deborah, like, there were certain things that I was like hell bent on, and I only honestly through prayer and just like allowing God to work, because you have to give him the time to work, and people don't like to do that. Like you pray on it and you want it to,
like, it's not magic.
It's not magic. Also God, he's such a gentleman, but what you're praying about is going to continuously happen until you're ready for it to change. You can pray for detachment, you can ask, please help me with this, but if God is going to show you a sign and you're going to come up with an excuse every single time. So I think it was just my willingness to change. Like at some point I was like, nah dude, I know that this is not who I'm supposed to be. I personally want better for myself. Also, you can't project change onto someone. They have to change. So your friends can be praying for you, they can be saying all of the stuff. Unless you want it, forget about it.
It's not going to happen. And then also like I said, I've known you since first year. Now this is like our 5th year. Sure. What advice would you give to young girls coming into varsity? Because the whole experience, guys, no one, I think coming to school at the age of 18, some people are even younger when they start varsity.
I'm sorry.
In terms of the self, you're not, like a lot of people are not self.
Friend, you know nothing about yourself.
Like how do I put? They're not well developed.
Yes, the person you've constructed is very much because of the house you live in. So you're very guarded. Also, high school, you're very guarded. You hardly know things.
We went to really small,
little private schools that showed you from the world and whatever. Like,
and you're in a bubble your whole life. It's with mom and dad.
Friend, it's your mom and your dad.
And then they drop you. Like my mom, I remember when my mom, because I had like my accommodation things were mad. My mom dropped me. I just started crying and I was like, why are you crying? And I think she was looking at me and she's thinking, yo, this is my child, and you're so small. But you don't think you're small.
That's the thing.
You don't think you're small.
18 is nice because you out of high school, you were in matric. You were the Don Dadas, mate. Like you were the Don.
Oh my God.
So you come with that energy, like, okay, I'm finally old enough to live by myself. My parents are gonna let me. Mate, you know, nothing. Nothing. So the advice that I'd give is that
young girls, young honeys, because we're the ones who always like, guys, things that people have gone through.
I even think, like, a side note, like our year, like people.
There's something about our year.
Deborah,
we rocked DCT.
No, we finished DCT. What are you talking about?
Like, I think back at some of the stories, some of the stuff, the things that happened, and it's only like when you're sitting with, like when I have conversations with my friends,
where you're like, friend, we lived a movie, and we didn't even.
We were rock stars. We didn't know.
Also, I think what's so interesting about that time is that like we were all actively not choosing peace.
Deliberately choosing chaos.
And I think that like that's what killed me. It's like, cool, we'd all have our personal chaos, but beyond that, like it's the willingness to be involved in each other's chaos. It's like
I think we like things too much. Hey, we popped. we pubbed.
Yes.
You know what puppering?
Yeah, friend, that was us. And I think the advice I'd give to like a young girl coming to varsity is, I think the most important thing is really the people you surround yourself with. So like obviously when you come into varsity, girls, I want you to know that the boys are many, they'll never end. They like fresh meat, but it's always fresh meat.
Yeah.
So I just think as a girl, especially in first year, did you come and you get this attention that you didn't get before. And like
especially for girls coming out of all girl
she went mate, like it's
like
finished.
I went to an all girls high school,
friend,
and
now
so
you come.
like okay, there was interaction with boys here and they're very limited, but then now you're in varsity and it's like
even
they are men.
I went to a co-ed, but like I was shielded from those things. Like I'm in high school that I can go out every now and then. Like the people I'm exposed to is like very. So it's a small group of people. You come here and there are just so many boys. Just take your time. Take your time. Also, like I think that for some reason a big part of the university experience is boys and like being in a relationship. Because when I came to varsity, I know that's what I wanted. I was like, okay, so I obviously want to be the girl in a relationship, sitting in the corner with my. I think the biggest advice I can give you is that come with an open mind and know that this is a journey.
Yeah, we probably would have to do like a separate thing, some other type of video
because there's so much,
like a varsity series helping. Because there's not. I have friends who have gone through so many different things, and the things that they've. I think you need to record it so that other people
the university experience is extremely unique to a person. So as much as we all experience the same things, think about like me and all our friends. Like we've experienced similar things but so differently and at different times. Also at the same times at different times. So
and also I just wanted to make a note on friendship, because even though Gugu and I literally we don't see each other
as much as we should.
We don't see each other like, but she's there, and I know that she's there for me.
Yeah.
So even though it's so important, so that's you're gonna have friends like that where like they're not a part of your everyday, the fabric of your everyday life, but they're there in the background supporting you, which is super important.
Yeah,
like she does check up on me, check up on her.
It's also just like, dude, you're right. Like I think it's a very mature thing. It's understanding that Deborah really has people she speaks to every day, and that's that. And that already takes a lot. Like the older you get, the more you realize that.
And you have people that she speaks to every day, and they're there for you every day. And it's not like I'm not gonna say that we're not friends.
Yeah, of course. You know? And I think it's very important to just normalize having friends where you're like, okay, every time we're in the same city, like Deborah, like I can see Deborah and be like, okay, Chubby, this is what has happened in the past 6 months.
Unload, unpack,
and that's but you learn that with age. I think in the beginning that's not what friendship is. Yes. Like you don't think that you want to be around friends all the time, you want them to include you.
It's a maturity thing. It's definitely
it really is a maturity
thing.
But and I mean, friend, as much as I've grown, you have too, man. No, you have.
Embarrassing.
You know what, friend? We went through those things for a reason. If we didn't go through them, like I can't imagine being the same person I was in 2016 now. I would be so embarrassed. I'd be so ashamed. 5 years of what? Sitting and doing nothing. Yeah, so I don't regret it. I think that there's like... Also, I'm happy I went to UCT. Like, I don't like the institution, but I'm really happy I ended up here. I wouldn't have met you guys. There's so many people I wouldn't have met. Like, the city really has molded me into something.
And now that you're turning 23 next month, it's a big girl age.
It's a big friend. It's a big woman thing.
It's a big girl age. How are you feeling?
Yeah.
Are you excited about the future? Are you excited about life?
Yeah.
Your channel is doing amazing.
No, I'm so excited.
Yeah. What do you have planned? What are you keen for?
Yeah.
What keeps you going? Like, what are your hopes, your dreams? All of that stuff that makes you, that charges you up at night.
23. I'm excited to turn 23. It is a big girl age.
It's your Jordan year, sis.
Friend, it's my Jordan year. And I'm just super excited. Like I said this before, I never, after 2016, saw myself hitting another birthday. So my birthdays are a very big deal to me now. Like, It's, guys, I never saw myself turning 23. Like, I didn't see 5 years from 2016.
Wow.
Like, that was actually, I was
Okay, yeah. So 2016, I think, was a different year for everyone. It was like I also went through like the dark stuff. It was particularly dark for you.
Friends, no,
particularly dark for you. To the point where it was like everyone was super worried.
I didn't think I was gonna come out of it.
I remember that year, like that December.
Yeah.
I live in Nelspruit, so she had come to Mpumalanga for the holidays.
Yeah.
And we met up, and this girlie,
I was non-existent.
do you remember how much weight she lost?
I was non-existent.
She was with, you see, Wuthering Heights.
I'd never been that small.
Yeah.
And I also, the rate at which I dropped the weight was disgusting. Like, I was at the
so
point
quick.
where my mom was like, she had a diary of what I ate so she could come and show me, because when she complained, I didn't believe her. She'd be like, oh, you ate once today. I'd be like, oh, mom, that's not true. So she came, she's like, on Tuesday you had a banana, on Wednesday you had like a fruit, and like, yeah.
So I think that's crazy that you were at a point where you didn't even think you were going to see your next birthday, which is like wild. And to come from like such a low to where you are now.
Yeah. Yeah, 23 means a lot for me. Like, this year was about letting go of like the bad perceptions I had of myself, and like letting go of people's opinions, and really just being like, babes, you know, people are going to speak regardless. Like, you can do also, I think as a person, it's just so important to try and do your best at all times. Like, and I often say this to my friends, that when you hurt someone or you hurt people, right, the onus is never on them to forgive you, but the person you become is very telling of whether or not your apology was sincere.
Explain that.
So I feel like, okay, one, there's this just weird notion that like people like to forget their past. Your past isn't who you are, but it's something that you can't forget, because I think that as soon as people try to distance themselves from that, you're invalidating people's feelings that you may have hurt in the past.
Okay.
So people like to do this thing of, I'm a new person now.
Forget about what I
and you can't forget about it.
So do you remember your past and acknowledge it?
I have to. I have to. I also think that in order to like forgive myself for certain things that I've done, I actively have to be a better person than what I was then. And I think that's why like self-growth and self-improvement is such a big thing, because like you want to prove yourself to be the furthest thing from that, for yourself more than anything. Forget anyone else. So like, yeah, I don't think forgetting your past is important, but like acknowledging it and paying homage to it is important.
Yeah.
Also, Deborah, like, yeah, it's a very invalidating when people cut off their past completely and like their interactions with the people that they had back then. It's like, okay, so what does that person do with that hurt, because they're dealing with that? So yeah, it's like finding a balance between the future and the past, but like I've forgiven myself for a lot, and I know that I have just via me putting myself out there.
Definitely.
I have really big things happening for my channel, like while I'm in Joburg, like collaborations, and
I had to literally steal her today because she's only in town for like
a few days
and doing big girl things.
Yeah.
So I'm really grateful that.
Of course, friend. I was gonna see this trip whether we were recording or not. I was like, I can't.
Took the time out to do this.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think this year's exciting for both of us, man.
I hope it is. Like, I'm trying to.
I think you're in the process of something you don't even know it yet. And that was me. Like, right before starting my channel, there was a shift, and I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
Until like I was like, oh, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where this takes me. Yeah, I'm excited to see where it takes me. So I wanted to thank you very much for coming.